people! Here we go! Some news headlines. Let's go. Hang on, people! Wow, karma. Karma's a bitch. Alec Baldwin, Mr. Left-Wing, Mr. Anti-Gun, anti-Trump, anti-everybody. Oh, did I say he was Catholic? Oh, yeah, he's Catholic. Because that makes him a good guy, right? Even though he promotes the left and the lack of freedom and the anti-censorship and everything. I mean, great. Anyway, Alec Baldwin shot and killed somebody on a movie set. This is much deeper than what's being out, in my opinion. Just so we know who Alex is, he put out a tweet a while ago saying, "I wonder how it must feel to wrongfully kill someone, jumping on a cop who had to use of force on somebody." And I think I did a video on this actual shooting. I don't remember it now. Video shows Huntington Beach officer fatally shooting suspect outside 7-Eleven. I can't remember the video, but I find it funny that Mr. Alec Baldwin, Mr. Movie guy that really is nobody except he plays somebody on TV, is somehow, typical left-wing loon out of Hollywood, is going to question other people, and now he has killed someone. I guess he can answer his own question. What I think is important is to listen how they're wording this and what we don't know. So I'm going to throw out some questions that, So he fires a propped gun that killed a cinematographer and injured a director. So he killed him. But in this headline, the prop gun killed him. Okay, I got it. He's on the phone after this. Doesn't even really look that upset. Authorities have confirmed that he fired a prop gun that killed a cinematographer, Hutchins, and director Souza. Okay, or it injured Souza. Souza, I think, is getting medical help. So when I hear somebody injured from a gun that was fired, the gun had to be pointed at them. Otherwise, this was a ricochet, and a ricochet rarely kills, especially from a prop gun. So here's what they're not telling us when I'm first thinking about this. Why isn't one of these reporters on scene saying, was it a real bullet or was it a blank? Was it pointed at the people or was it a ricochet? Because those are two very important things when it comes to culpability. My guess is Alec, Mr. Movie Star, Mr. I can do what I want, Mr. I can do anything because I'm a left-wing liberal and only other people should follow rules. He was fucking around and playing, and he shouldn't have been, and it went off. Because a couple places in here, they said it was an accident, which means he didn't intend to. Did he not intend to shoot, or did he not intend to hit somebody? Because that's a difference. Guns don't normally go off unless you pull the trigger. So he was handling the gun, his finger was on the trigger, and he was either pointing it at them or in the direction to where they were killed ricochet. All major safety violations that probably nobody could tell Mr. Baldwin that he was doing anything wrong. Authorities have confirmed it was a prop gun that killed. The Western shooting at Bonanza Creek, involved the use of a prop gun when it was discharged. So, again, the gun just discharged. No. Alex pulled the trigger on the gun. Detectives are investigating how and what type of projectile was discharged. So, of course they're investigating that, because that's the first thing that comes to mind. Was it a real bullet or was it a blank? If it was a blank, it shouldn't have killed anybody. They're not even supposed to have it. A lot of blank guns have a block in the barrel to where it only lets gas and stuff go around the middle. So in case something does go in there, it won't come out. So, I mean, look, this investigation is going to come out that he was wrong, but it's going to be a water wash. And you can tell it's going to be washed over and whitewashed because it's Alec Baldwin. And, we have to get along and we don't want to piss off the left. Whatever. 42-year-old Hutchins airlifted to the hospital. She later died. Was she shot in the temple or in the face? Again, even if a blank gun, even if a real gun is fired at you, it has to hit critical mass area to cause death. If it hit in the brain, if he was fucking around with the head, if he pointed it at her ear, if he pointed it at her temple, if he was like, oh, I'm going to shoot you if I hear that one more time and it was a joke, all those things, I mean, to me, that's the only way this could have happened. He aimed this gun and the direction of this woman. And it's really sad. I mean, the girl was 42 and she's out there working around with asshole. But if she's working in Hollywood, she's probably a left wing anyway. Let's see, 42-year-old Rick, that was cold-blooded, whatever. Hospitals later died. Spokesman said there was an accident on the set. Yeah, when somebody dies, we can't say it was intentional. Of course it's a freaking accident. Involving a misfire of a prop gun. Misfire. Does that mean it went off by itself? Or does that mean Alex pulled the trigger when he wasn't supposed to? Was he handling the gun? This just stinks to high heaven. Bonanza Creek in New Mexico. So here's a local news station covering it. I wonder what he's thinking right now. I wonder if anybody's tweeting. I wonder what Alex feels like to shoot someone wrongfully. I wonder what he feels like. That's what we should be saying. See, the difference between him and a cop is a cop was out there doing a job and was dispatched to, the tweet that he was talking about. The cop was out there doing a job and had to go as part of his duties to go out there. He didn't. He was handling a gun when he didn't have to. He was fucking around when he didn't have to. Who thinks, raise your hand if you think the investigation is going to show that the gun suddenly, while it was in his holster for some unknown reason, went off by itself and killed this person and injured another person. The gun was in his hands. The key points here is even if it was a real bullet, let's say a real bullet, because that's what everybody wants to concentrate on. How did he get on scene? And that's why it's so careful. And that's why guns are so dangerous. And these left-wing news people on this article just drive me nuts because they're like shocked and it's accidents and how could this happen? And that's why we need to get rid of guns. And yeah, let's get rid of guns from good people now because idiots in Hollywood can't freaking protect when they're using blanks and fake guns. They kill people. Yeah, let's get rid of guns from good people now. That'll be the new cry. Freaking left wing. Let's see what they say on this.
1,000 heartbreaking words. One of the biggest names in television and film, actor Alec Baldwin, completely distraught.
Oh my God, completely distraught. Look at his face. Look at the tears. Looks like he's talking to his lawyer. Hey man, these people are trying to blame me and shit. That fucking gun went off. It wasn't my fault. That's probably what he's saying.
After deputies say he fired a prop gun on a Santa Fe movie set today, killing a crew member and injuring another.
If this was part of a scene and it was scripted and he fired, see, they're using misfire and accident. If it was part of a scene, it's not a misfire and it's not an accident. They were in the process of filming and somehow a blank or a real bullet got in there and killed somebody. I get that. That I'm okay with that. But they're not saying that. They're using terms like misfire and accident, which means he was fucking around with the gun when he shouldn't have.
The tragedy happened at the set of the Western movie Rust at Bonanza Creek Ranch. The film's director, Joel Souza, is being treated for his injuries at a Santa Fe hospital.
Treated for his injuries. Again, they're not saying, did he get shrapnel? Did he get a little cut from a piece of, was it a live round that hit the concrete and a piece of concrete cut him? Secondary shrapnel happens, or secondary projectiles, if you fire a gun in an area and it hits, a piece of wood. I tell that story where we're making inch trying to arrest somebody, and one guy had his hand in his gun. He shot the door frame, and splinters and dust and gunpowder, everything flew, and it was like, what the shit? I mean, secondary projectiles happen sometime when you hit things. So if he was shooting as part of the script, would it be a misfire and would it be an accident? No. He was fucking around, ignoring safety procedures, not doing what he's supposed to, and now when the cops investigate, hopefully somebody's going to have the balls to say it, and they're not going to want to say it because Alex will end their career. So they're going to have to cover it up, and it's going to be this big protect Alex so I can still work in Hollywood because it's cool.
But tonight, those in this industry mourn the loss of Halyna Hutchins, the film's director of photography. Just days ago, she was enjoying her time in our state, horseback riding through the land of enchantment.
She takes her job seriously. She can't even ride a horse without filming herself. She's in photography. Rick, why are you? All right, whatever. Let me get, this woman is just freaking like.
Western movie Rust right outside Santa Fe this afternoon. Santa Fe County deputies got called to the set at Bonanza Creek Ranch because of an accidental shooting.
Accidental. That means it wasn't part of a scene. It wasn't in a script, is what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. I'm just telling you, my investigative, hairs are standing up on the back of my neck saying, this is bullshit. Somebody just doesn't get shot accidentally. Who was handling the gun? Who gave him the gun? Who signed it out? Who checked it? Why was he handling it? Was it part of the scene, before the scene? Should he have been handling it? Did somebody warn him before, stop handling the gun? Did he tell somebody, oh, shut up, it's just a blank gun? Did he pull it out as a joke and go, this blank gun, I'm tired of you, I'm going to shoot you in the head, and pull the trigger intentionally? And now they're saying it's an accident, even though he intentionally pulled it, but it was an accident that he killed somebody. A lot of questions here, a lot of suspicion. Hopefully these deputies go out there and don't get starstruck, and they do a freaking good job, because this dead woman deserves to have the truth be known.
Alec Baldwin is both co-producing and playing the lead role.
Co-producer and lead guy. How many people on this set is going to tell him he can't play with the gun? Raise your hand if you think anybody can tell him. Rick, at a firing range, anybody can yell, cease fire. Yeah, we ain't at a firing range. We're in a protected Hollywood area where they think they have blanks, they think they're above everybody else, and they think they can't be held accountable, and the rules don't apply to them. He was fucking around with this gun more and more when I think about what's going on in the words they're using.
In this movie, deputies say he fired a prop gun, somehow seriously injuring those two crew members.
He just fired a prop gun. Was it part of the scene? Did he fire it as part of the scene? Was it written in? Was he aiming it at somebody? Was it active roll? Was there film rolling? All this should be on tape if this was a scene. If this was between scenes, why was he handling the gun? Why was he pointing at it? Why was he firing it? Man, huge issues.
The first, again, the film's director of photography, Halyna Hutchins. The 42-year-old was flown to UNM Hospital in critical condition, but she died from her injuries earlier today.
Again, we don't know. Shot in the head, shot in the neck. Did it go on her temple? How close was he? Was there gunpowder burns on her? Was he so close that there was gunpowder? I mean, this better be a freaking high-level investigation, because he just killed someone, and at a minimum, it's probably negligent, but it could be gross negligence or manslaughter with reckless regard. I mean, there's just all kind of things that this could get close to murder.
Second victim, the film's director, 48-year-old Joel Souza. He's being treated at Christus St. Vincent Medical Center in Santa Fe tonight. There was an accident today on the New Mexico set of Rust involving the misfire of a prop gun.
With blanks. A prop gun with blanks. So if a blank killed her, it had to be pretty damn close. Which again leads me to believe he was fucking around. And the guy that got injured was close. I'm telling you, man, my investigative hairs are like going wild right now. Like, I couldn't wait to get my teeth on this bone if I was in this freaking city. I hope these cops do an investigation for this woman, because she's freaking dead. And nobody, I don't care who they are, should get cover and protection on that shit, because her life's over.
With blanks. Production has been halted for the time being. The safety of our cast and crew remains our top
Obviously, it's
priority.
not that top, because Alec Baldwin was in charge. He was the producer. He was the head member on the staff. He was the guy in charge. Obviously, safety isn't a top priority, because one person in the hospital, another person's dead. No, Rick. Okay.
Deputies later said they're investigating what kind of projectile came out of that prop gun. There's no clarification on that just yet. We spoke to a man who was working on a different set near the Rust set today. He says things work a little differently in our state in allowing live weapons on set.
So here we go. A freaking left-wing liberal anti-gun misuses a gun and shoots somebody, and the left-wing media is going to turn it around to gun freedom and other people carry guns on the set. Somehow, it was their fault. It's the legal gun owners that didn't shoot anybody. It's their fault that the left-wing Alec Baldwin shot somebody with a prop gun.
Sometimes the background casting office here out of New Mexico will tell the extras, which are the people you see walking around in the background, say, hey, if you have a gun, bring it.
He also
So this little left-wing pansy with his little purple shirt, probably wearing his pink underwear, is upset that somebody may bring a gun. because it's different in New Mexico, I guess, because it's gun freedom. So you have Hollywood goes to these places where there's gun freedoms to fire to do their movies, and then they want to start attacking lawful gun owners. They are turning this into a lawful gun owner issue when it has nothing to do with Alec Baldwin out there shooting a freaking woman on a set because he was fucking around.
Get around in the background and say, hey, if you have a gun, bring it.
He also explained the concept of blanks in those prop guns.
A lot of people don't realize that you put a blank in and you have a crimped shell. And there's gunpowder and that crimped shell expands and pieces of fragments can actually project out that.
He's making it sound like there's not freaking fragments shining out. There's burnt gunpowder, maybe what I would call shavings at the end of a blank. Now, if there was a blank cartridge that was possibly cut or weakened, or maybe they used it more than once, or there was a flaw in the manufacturing, the front end may not open and it may just blow off, and then you would have a good projectile that could possibly hurt somebody. And if that was the case, why is the photographer shot and not the person that he was shooting at in the scene? Why isn't somebody in the scene shot? We're using terms like accident and misfire. Well, hang on. We're going to blame the freaking legal gun owners. I forgot.
Barrel and strike you.
And we do still have questions tonight about whether this firearm was loaded with live ammunition, how the malfunction happened.
Maybe it wasn't a malfunction. My guess is it was not a malfunction. Guns don't normally just go off. They have to be handled. He was handling the gun and fucking around, and somebody died.
Movie's production will continue. As of now, again, production is on hold. No charges have been filed, but deputies are, of course, still
investigating. They should be investigating. And I predict there will be charges. Because there's just the likelihood, the small percentage that this gun accidentally went off when he wasn't handling it, fucking around when he wasn't supposed to, messing with it. I mean, look, there's firearms guys on these scenes who put the guns in a holster and you pull it out in the scene and you don't need to handle it before. And if you want to handle it, we'll give you one that's not loaded and we'll work with you on a side set and you don't need ammo. Once we give you a loaded blank gun that's going to be used in a scene, it stays in a freaking holster. Don't be pulling it out. I guarantee you he was mishandling the gun and somebody died because of it. And now the big cover up because he's a left-wing anti-gun comes out. All right, well, in that there. Alec Baldwin, murderer, killed someone. Oh, I'm sorry. It was an accident. All right, well, in that there.